Yo, what's going down, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Holmes Hobbies Motor Control. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, and today we're going to do things a little different. We're in my living room slash workspace, office, whatever you want to call it. You know, we're hanging out. I got a cup of coffee. It's actually a cup of coffee that I'm following a smoothie up with, so I don't know if that's the best choice, but we're going to go ahead and work through this. This is what I got going on today. I was sitting here doing some research on brushed motors because, as I had said before in the last episode, we're going to be focused on brushed motors for a while now. And in doing some research, I kind of stumbled across an old post from 2007 from John Holmes, for those of you that don't know. He's the owner of Holmes Hobbies. And I kind of stalk his old post on RC Crawler. There's just a wealth of information to be had in his old threads and stuff on here. So, and a lot of the stuff is things that you may not be able to find on the website or on the blog or anything like that. So it's very, very important for me anyways to be a part of this. So go ahead, if you guys want to see any of this stuff, sign up. Don't just lurk, you know what I mean? Sign up for an account at rccrawler.com. It's free. And check out John Holmes' old posts, all his old threads and stuff. You'll see him on here. What we're going to do is we're just going to, basically, I'm going to read his post here because it is perfect for guys like me that need to understand how a brushed motor works before I can understand how to maximize the efficiency and take care of it properly and all of that. So that's where we're going to start. So I'll just go ahead and start reading. And keep in mind, this is from 2007, you guys, but the general concept is still the same, and I apologize for the background noise. It's a little bit louder out of my studio. It says, I've had many questions about motor construction, why X is better than Y, and other general questions as of late. I would like to start a thread that addresses the common questions of construction and performance. The biggest part of understanding a motor is to know that design change is a trade-off that will affect more than one aspect of the motor. A stronger magnet will give the motor more torque and slow the RPM volt at the same time, keeping all else constant. If you want more torque and speed, the amp draw must increase for a given load and voltage. In other words, nothing is free. It's going to be a trade-off. As a point of reference, 50 to 60 turn ceramic magnet 3-slot brushed motor is most popular. It gives decent wheel speed and high torque without overheating in most situations. I'm not so sure that's still true today, but keep in mind this from 2007. The construction of a brush actually it might still be true, I don't really know. The construction of a brush motor can be broken down into the following: bearings, can, magnet, armature, which consists of the following: shaft, commutator, stator, and windings. In-belt, which consists of the following: brush hood, brushes, and springs. I will now break down the construction piece by piece, showing how small differences in construction change how the motor performs. Starts with the bearings. These play a large part in efficiency of the motor. They must always be well lubed and clean. I was talking about that last time. Rubber shielded bearings resist moisture better but have a high drag. Metal shielded bearings or open bearings are typically used. The can, which is basically the case, right? The can is made from steel. This reflects the magnetic field of the magnets. A flux ring can also be used to increase the efficiency of the magnet. As the magnet field gets stronger, the motor will slow down if all else is kept the same. The next thing it talks about is magnets. The magnets can be made from various materials. Most common in the brushed hobby motors for cars is ceramic ferrite magnets. Neodymium magnets, oh man, this is, keep in mind I never graduated, folks, are used in brushless motors more often. Old high-performance brush motors use cobalt magnets. As the magnet strength goes up, the temperature resistance to demagnetizing goes down. Thus, the weakest ceramic magnets have the highest temperature rating. Neodymium magnets have the highest magnetic power density, power to weight ratio, and there's a multitude of grades. Stronger magnets give a motor more torque, less amp draw, and slower RPM per volt, keeping all else constant. The size of the magnet also plays a part in how powerful the motor can be. Longer and thicker magnets have more strength, which slow the motor down and give it more torque per amp drawn. This doesn't mean the motor makes more torque though. The torque of the motor is limited by strength of the magnets and efficiency of the stator, keeping all else equal. Alright, the next thing he talks about is the shaft. Sorry guys, I couldn't help it. Nothing much to describe here. This transfers the power from the stator rotation into the pinion. It's pretty straightforward. As we know nowadays, the more powerful motors we're using in the brushless world, we're using a larger diameter shaft to hold that power because people start breaking shafts. The commutator, something you hear about a lot. The commutator, or COM for short, that's what a lot of people call it. You'll hear the term cut the COM, this is what they're talking about. The commutator, or COM for short, transmits the power from the brushes into the windings. This is where the business starts. The COM always has the same number of segments as the stator. 3-slot armatures are most common in hobby motors. Holmes Hobbies Cobalt pullers have 7 slots. Old Astroflight pull masters have 7 slots. Increasing the slots of the COM and stator will give a higher torque capability as well as better slow speed resolution. A larger diameter COM will also slightly increase torque capability as well as slow speed resolution. Typical hobby motors have 7.5mm diameter COMs. The Cobalt puller and Pullmaster motors have 12mm commutator diameters. Wow. Okay, so next thing he talks about is the stator. The stator has the same number of slots as the commutator. The notable aspect of the stator is the effect on efficiency and power. Higher quality silicon steel laminations increase efficiency by lowering switching and hysteresis. That's a lot of big words all at once. Higher quality silicon steel lamination increase efficiency by lowering switching and hysteresis? I honestly don't know what that word means. I'm not even going to lie right now. Losses. Both losses make the stator plates hot. That's all that matters. It creates heat. Heat is never good. So this is not addressed by many brush motor manufacturers, especially in the RC car realm. The diameter and length of the stator has a direct effect on the overall power output of the motor. The larger and longer the stator is, the more power the motor can have. Okay. Windings is the next thing he talks about. Alright? The windings run the motor. In a nutshell, the fewer turns you have, the faster the motor will spin per volt, with less torque per amp drawn. For crawlers, we use mostly high wind motors, but lower wind motors can be used with proper gear down. The downfall to lower wind motors is heat and lack of torque. In a rough bind, a 35-turn 3-slot ceramic magged 540 motor can smoke itself with too much throttle. Not enough torque combined with stalling conditions create a lot of heat. Stalling conditions is like binding your rig up, right? This is why 50-turn to 60-turn 3-slot ceramic mag motors are the most popular for general crawling. Now, like we all know, that's changed a lot. Most of you guys run 35 turns now, or somewhere in there, it seems like. And he says they do not overheat, and they work with standard gearing like a PED tranny TLT axle will give. Hand-wound motors, keep in mind this before all the SCX 10 days and stuff. Hand-wound motors have more copper packed in. This increases the magnetic field density and increases the power of the motor. When the magnets or slot count change, the wind count changes to keep speed similar. The 10-turn Pullmaster or Cobalt puller is similar in speed to a 45 to 50-turn ceramic mag 3-slot motor. Alright, next he's going to talk about the brushed hood and then the brushes and springs. An often ignored part of the motor is the brush hood. The brush hood must be aligned properly with the COM for motor efficiency and power production. Special design can increase heat dissipation, which increases the amount of power the motor can handle. The hood orientation also determines the brush's contact with the COM. Stand-up brushes have more contact area along the vertical plane. Lay-down style brushes have more contact along the horizontal plane, which keeps the windings energized longer. Lay-down brushes produce more power at a sacrifice of amp draw and runtime. Like he said before, nothing is free. Brushes are the next thing he talks about here. Hard brushes wear longer and can give increased motor speed. They can also premature COM wear. Soft brushes tend to run quieter, but they can have a higher coefficient of friction. For crawling, either can be used. It depends on many factors of driving style and setup as to what brush will work the best. Brush width also affects the amp draw, as a wider brush shorts each circuit for a long period of time. Too wide of a brush will overheat the motor. The next thing he talks about is springs. The springs hold the brushes to the column. Stiff springs give a great drag to the motor, which is good for downhill descents with a crawler. They will also wear a motor column out fast. Too soft a spring won't work at higher RPMs and will contribute to brush hop and arcing. Most people that crawl tend to prefer stiffer springs for downhilling, especially since many crawlers do not break 4 miles per hour and motor wear is minimal anyway. Keep in mind, you guys, this is written a long time ago, like 2007. That's back when I started my channel. SCX-10s and Viteras and Twin Hammers and Race and all that stuff, none of it existed. No bombers, none of that. So we're talking about old school, custom built, super lightweight for the most part crawlers, right? Comp crawlers especially. So, however, all these same concepts still apply today with all the new motors that he carries. So it's very important to know that. Anyways, you guys, I figure that's probably enough for today. If you need to, play that back, and if you want, just go ahead and basically get an account set up with RC Crawler Forum and just go to John's posts, all of his own threads. You can just search Holmes Hobbies, or I'll leave a link in the description. If I forget, you guys remind me in the comments. I'll put it in there. But that's probably good enough for today. Some good information for you guys to sit and just think on. I've been going over this for a while now. I've gone over it several times because I kind of wanted to understand it better before I tried to read it to you guys. And I apologize for my lack of reading capabilities. I'm a little off this morning, but you guys know what it is. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this helps some of you out there, and I'm going to see you on the next episode. Yeah! Peace and chicken grease, fam.